was a graduate student here at the university, and I was a mother of a child who was just turning 3, my first job. And I had been the director of another center in Baltimore City, and I had finished another master's in elementary education and had taught in the school system. That a master's degree was from Goucher. I had taught in the school system and was able to discern in that particular experience that it was important to me to be able to work with parents as well as children, because if you want to make change, you've got to apply for it, and I did. And it was a long, involved process, but anyhow, they eventually offered me this job. So this was in 1975. I started in January of 1975. And we were in the Tiger's Den at that point. The center was located in the Tiger's Den, what you call the Tiger's Den now. Then it was called dry food storage for food services, and they took the dry food out and put us in. And that's how the center started. That was the space they found. Now, I was trying to juggle being a mom and bringing in some income. And I had certainly done the wage earner part, but I had never done the being a mom part. And talk about a learning curve. Anyhow, but I was the director of another center at the time. And I guess that's why the person who alerted me, who was Dr. Eliza Brandwine, she's the one that told me about this. She was a professor in the early childhood department. My role model, in large part, has always been my mother. I've always been very in awe of the fact that my mother didn't lose her temper, and she was easygoing, and I'm just the opposite. Very, very, very loving, capable, together woman. So she's been a role model for me forever. And also, I felt strongly, I was very attracted to Dean Siegel, Dorothy Siegel, who was my boss's boss, because she's a very giving personality, but also very clear. And I often thought she must have eaten nails for breakfast. She had a quality about her that I couldn't understand, but that I aspired to if I could make it work for me and my personality. She's always been a friend to me. Also, I think running any organization requires a very flexible kind of personality. So you need to be clear about what it is you think works in the long term for the largest number of people, but you never, ever, ever forget the individual, because that's what makes us human beings, right? We're special because what really matters is the relationship between people, and things are less important. But how you have to use the people is how to reach people in a meaningful way, how to empower people in a meaningful way, so that they also understand there's lots of things they're not going to get, and they don't have to get. They've got time to figure it out. They've got time. I'm very comfortable saying, let me think about it. Let me think about it. That doesn't mean I'm going to think positive. It just means let me think about it, and I'll get back to you at some point when I'm more clear. What I might be more clear about is this is what I don't understand. I wasn't even that clear at the beginning, but I'm making progress, moving in a direction. And for me, that feels healthy. I don't have to have all the answers. I don't have to have the kind of response they want. Oh, yes. Without question. Why? Because I'm able to impact the thinking of many people. And I have the power, therefore, to do that for positive or negative. And what I would hope is that, like has been done for me, that I'm giving like the seed of opportunity to think about yourself differently, to try different things, to test things, stick your toe in the water. You may decide it's too cold, or you don't like it, it's too deep, or whatever, but you stuck your toe in the water. That's the important thing, because the next time you'll already know what it feels like to stick your toe in the water, and you won't feel so intimidated by it. Or maybe next time you'll say, now, next time I'm sitting on the edge and sticking my toe in the water. Or next time I'm having a team of lifeguards behind me to save me. And all of us would like that team of lifeguards, but guess what? They're not there. Engage, enable. Engagement is a big piece because people don't want to be engaged unless you're not asking them for anything. And we can't operate. They're the ones that I have to ask to get things done. They're the ones who have to move forward and say, let me just try. No long-term commitments here, let me just try. That's the kind of person I admire. I admire somebody who's willing to try something. Of course, we all want to have our ducks in a row. That's an American expression, which means you want to make sure you know exactly what's happened, what's going to happen, when it happened, da-da-da-da. But life isn't like that. You might think the ducks are in a row. Nobody else sees them that way. So anyhow, that's a comfort zone. Everybody wants to stay in their comfort zone, but then your conscience grabs at you and says, you had an opportunity to do something about this. Or maybe you do. Why don't you try? Why don't you try? And of course it could all blow up. It could go down the tubes. You could get yelled at. You could be disciplined. I've been disciplined many times. It hasn't particularly... I don't want to say that. Somebody will hear that and think, I'm going to get her! Nope. I've been disciplined. Okay. However, I think that we grow faster if we're exposed to people who aren't.
1,000 times I've failed, still your mercy remains. Should I stumble again, still I'm caught in your grace. Everlasting, your light will shine when all else fades. Never ending, your glory goes beyond all fame. My heart and my soul, I give you control. Consume me from the inside out, Lord. Let justice and praise become my embrace, to love you from